Hey chickadees, it's Robin. Welcome back to my channel. If you notice, I have a new setup. Let me know down below what you think of it. I got a new light and a background and we're playing with it. We're getting there. But today we are going to be doing a full face of Morphe products and trying out the new Morphe Filter Effect Foundation, whilst I will also be answering questions about myself, like a Q&A, so you can get to know me. Because I feel like I haven't really introduced myself properly since I started my channel about a month ago, so I figured I would do that while we play with some new Morphe products. So if you are interested, keep on watching, and as always, if you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below to join the flock, and let's get into it. Okay, so I have some Q&A questions that I found on the internet that I will be answering while we do our makeup. And we will start, of course, with our foundation primer. This is called the Revitalizer Foundation Primer. This is what it looks like. It's already starting to come out the top there. Just keeps on coming. Interesting. Alrighty. Okay, stop. Put the lid back on. I'm not going to use that much. It doesn't really have a scent to it. It feels more like a lotion than your typical primer. I'm kind of used to them being a little bit on the powdery side. This just feels like I'm putting on a nice moisturizer on my skin. Okay, so we will just do the first question really quick. How old are you? So I am 28 currently, and I turn 29 in June of this year. So I'm almost 30, getting old. Where do we live? We live in Colorado. I grew up here until I was 18, and then I moved to Florida to do the Disney Career Start program, and I've moved quite a few different places like Iowa, Chicago, and then back here to Colorado, and then back to Florida. But I officially moved back to Colorado 4 years ago. So next product we're going to use is the Morphe Filter Effect Foundation. It says it's a soft focus foundation, medium to full coverage, long wearing, oil-free, natural finish foundation, hydrates skin and blurs imperfection for the ultimate soft focus look. Has hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, glycerin, all that jazzy stuff. I picked up shade Filter Light 7. It looks kind of like it's going to be really dark from looking at the box, but not really that dark in the actual bottle. So hopefully I did pick out the right shade. And with this purchase, I actually got their brush as well, the Morphe E63 brush, so that's what I'm going to use to apply it. We will start off with, let's say, 2 pumps. The next question that I saw is, how did you and your significant other meet? And we met on Tinder, of course, of all places, back in, I want to say, April of 2017. And we have been together ever since, so nearly 4 years now. And we got married. We literally just went to the courthouse to get married in April of 2019. So, married just about 2 years now. I think as far as the shade match goes, we're pretty good. It's a little bit dark, but not too bad. I do feel like with that primer, it is kind of shearing out the foundation. At least I'm not really noticing a lot of coverage right off the bat. I'm going to do another 2 pumps, or maybe just 1 for now. That one kind of came out with a lot. I'm not noticing any streaking with this brush, which is nice. And another question is, do you have children? And yes, we do. My husband has 2 daughters from a previous relationship, so I am a stepmama to 2 girls, Harley and Aries. Aries is 9 and Harley is 7. And we had a baby boy in August of 2019 named Phoenix. And then recently we found out in July of 2020 that we are having another baby. And so I am currently 33 weeks pregnant, about to be 34 weeks on Sunday, and it is currently Thursday. So we will have 2 girls and 2 boys, which is very exciting. And do we have any pets? Yes, we do. My mother-in-law has a Frenchie that her daughter gave us. My son is obsessed with her. Her name is Josie. She's about 2 years old. And right before we found out that we were pregnant, I wanted to get the kids a couple of kitties. So we also now have 2 cats that are growing by the day. And we don't really have names for our cats. We just call them kitty number 1 and kitty number 2, or just kitty. But the girls named them Luna and Midnight. Next thing we are going to use is the Morphe Fluidity Concealer. I got this in the shade C125 Soft Matte. It says 16-hour long wear, sweat-proof, transfer-resistant, water-resistant, free of fragrance and parabens, and ophthalmologist tested. And that is what it looks like. It has a little doe foot applicator. And the next question we got is, are you homeschooling or remote learning, or are they back in school? And lucky us, they are remote learning. That has been a very big learning curve. The school they attend gave the option to send them back. I don't know. I don't really know what the best thing to do is for them, because I do feel like, yes, they need to go back to school, have some social interaction, but at this point they only have like 2 months left of the school year. And with a new baby coming, and their mom just gave birth to their new sister, I don't know. It's just a lot of a risk to take that they might get sick or might bring something home to their sister or to me. And so we just decided to keep on with the homeschooling, but it is not easy at all, especially with my youngest stepdaughter. She's more like one of those artsy types, and she does not like to sit still for very long, and staring at a computer screen for 8 hours is pretty much like torture for her. So Aries is kind of always done better in school and is able to kind of stay on track a little bit better than Harley. So it's definitely been a challenge, especially when I have a toddler and I am, so pregnant that I feel like I'm being pulled sometimes in a million different directions when all I really want to do is take a nap. But, we wanted to have kids, so you gotta do what we gotta do. But I think we're planning in August to send them back to school. Next thing I picked up is the Morphe Bake and Set setting powder. So I will put that on my under eyes. Ooh, that's dusty. Dang. I think I'm more of a fan of pressed translucent powders than loose. Loose just are so messy. Got another question, and what is your favorite drink? Well, it depends on if we're talking alcoholic or non-alcoholic. For non-alcoholic, you'll pretty much constantly find me with a Diet Coke. For alcoholic, when I can actually drink again, the first thing I really want is a beer. I love Blue Moon, and I also really want a margarita. I am missing those in my life for sure. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I am more of an introvert. I am like outgoing with obviously my kids and my husband and my family, but with newer people or new people in general, I'm very shy. It takes a while for me to kind of like feel confident around new people, and I would honestly prefer to just be at home with my small, you know, family. So I would say that I'm definitely more of an introvert. I am not the life of anybody's party for sure. Next thing we are going to move into is our face, and I got the 8T Totally Tan. It says each shade is perfect for medium to deep skin tones. Definitely not medium or deep, but this was all they had. So we'll see. Looks like that. I will say the packaging is really sleek. This is what they've got going on in here. They have like a banana brightener, a light bronzer, medium, and then like a darker contour shade, 2 blushes, and 2 highlighters. Looks very pretty. I think for bronzer, obviously, I am going to do the lightest shade here. Okay, and I'm going to take my Ultimate e.l.f. blending brush for this. And the next question is, who are your favorite YouTubers? And I could go on and on. Okay, that's dark for sure. Woo, dang. Keep working it in, I suppose. My favorite YouTubers personally, if you can tell, got my Jeffree Star winter mystery box shirt on, so he is definitely a favorite. I also love Kendall Rae and her true crime videos, and I love Bailey Sarian for the same reason, and she obviously does makeup with hers, which is super cool. And OG YouTube that I've loved for a long time would be Casey Holmes. We literally both got pregnant at the same time, so watching her, like, she was a month ahead of me, so watching her go through everything as a first-time mom when I was a first-time mom was super helpful and awesome for me. And I have always loved her, you know, beauty videos, things like that too, but lately I've been loving her vlogs as well. Another one for like vlogs, mommy vlogs, I really like Tara Henderson too. Alright, so we're gonna move on to blush, and this one is a little bit of a shimmerier blush. I'm gonna go in with this one on my cheeks. And the next question is, if you could travel anywhere, where would it be? Ooh, these are so pigmented. Good lord. Oh my goodness. I see a lot of blending in my future. Woo! So, where would I travel to if I could travel anywhere? There's a couple of choices. If I were to be able to take a vacation by myself, don't tell my husband, I would go to Bali for sure. I love the movie Eat, Pray, Love, and it just looks like such a beautiful, like, relaxing location. Very spiritual, a place to kind of like center and find yourself, so to speak. If it was just a trip for me and my husband, I would love to go to Italy, try some amazing food. My husband is a chef, and I feel like he would really enjoy going to Italy for the culinary experience. If I could, like, my dream vacation that I really want to take all of my kids to is Disney, because like I said, I actually worked for them for quite a few, or for like 3 years, and when I was growing up, my family would take trips to Disney pretty much every summer, and while I don't have many fond memories from my childhood, going to Disney was always one, and I always dreamed of working there as I got older. So I've always loved Disney World, always, and my dream would be to take my kids there for sure. So blush is on, we're gonna move on to highlighter. I think I'm gonna do this rose gold one here. Okay, so if I could live anywhere, where would it be? I would have a beautiful home in Golden Oak in Florida, and I would go to Disney with my kids or by myself anytime that I wanted. And that would be my dream place to live. Have a pool. They literally shuttle you to the parks. Like, I would die. That would be amazing. Okay, so we're going to move on to eyes next. I'm just going to prime my eyes really quickly with my Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. And then let's get another question. Am I currently working? Currently, I am a stay-at-home mom. I have been since when all of this COVID jazz started back in April of last year. I was working as a dispatcher for like an alarm company for about a year before I took off for maternity leave, and when I came back, basically the company I worked for shut down. So then I started doing DoorDash and Instacart and working at an Amazon warehouse part-time. So basically a lot of side hustles after my son was born. And once COVID hit, the warehouse I worked at was getting so many cases that I was just scared, because in the beginning of all this, it was like so many people were dying from COVID. So I quit. I was still doing a little bit of DoorDash here and there, but then we kind of went through our budget and figured out a way for me to be able to stay home with our son, and for me to be able to stay home and homeschool the girls. So that is what we have been doing for the past almost a year now. Cannot believe this madness has gone on for that long. Okay, so we're gonna go in with the Morphe Can I speak English? No. Morphe Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette. I've had this for a while, since it first came out. And apparently my children have gotten into it because it looks like a hot mess. And I think since the lipstick shade I got from Morphe is like this kind of a deep, like brick reddish color, I'm gonna kind of stick with that theme. So for my whole lid, I think I'm going to go in with this color, Mr. Diva. Okay, and then what was my favorite job? So again, I worked at Disney. I actually worked at the World of Disney in downtown Disney in Orlando. And I worked at the Magic Kingdom itself in the Emporium, which was amazing. And I worked at the Starbucks in Epcot. And all of the places that I worked at Disney, Magic Kingdom was my favorite, obviously. I got to see the fireworks every single night that I worked. And while it was my favorite job, but it did not pay well enough. I will say that. I made like $8 an hour, worked so many hours a week, and it was exhausting, and I just never really had anything to show for all of my work. But it was still my favorite job, for sure. I gotta live out my childhood dream. I think I'm going to go in with this shade, Boss Angels, in my crease. And the next question is about baby names. If we had one picked out, like we're having a boy this time, I think I already said that. But if we were to have a girl, did we pick out any names? And we definitely did. There was two that we both liked a lot. And the first one was Sage. For some reason, I just think that is such a pretty name. And the next one is Freya. My husband is a big Greek mythology nerd. He plays God of War. It's like his favorite video game to play. So we heard that name on the video game, and I'm like, you know, you don't hear that name a lot. That's a pretty name for a girl, I think. So I think that would be the two that we would be torn between. And then for our son, like I said, our first son, his name is Phoenix, and this baby boy is going to be named Atlas. I really like unique names that you don't hear a lot of. He has you know, Ares is another one named after a Greek god. Harley for Harley Quinn, one of his favorite comics and all that. And I just think all of our children have pretty unique names, and that's fun for me. I think for the middle of my eye, I'm going to go in with this shade here, Girl. So the next question I have is, what is your biggest accomplishment? You know, this is a tough one. My first instinct was to say being a mom, becoming a mother, learning how to become a stepmom, how to juggle taking care of myself and my kids and my husband. I'm obviously not perfect and I haven't had everything figured out yet, but I'm definitely trying. But I do think another one of my accomplishments is recognizing that I needed help when I started Zoloft and sticking with it and just becoming a better version of myself. I would say that's another thing that I am proud of, because I probably would have spent the rest of my life just kind of suffering in silence. And I have my kids to thank for that, because I don't want them to have a grumpy mom all the time. Alright, so I'm just going to do that for my eyes. And I did not get a Morphe eyeliner or mascara, so I'm just going to quickly do that off camera. I'm going to use the Morphe matte lipstick. I got it in the shade Fling. Very pretty. This looks more mauve almost than the color on the outside of the box. Like, this looks pretty brick red. I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but we will see how it looks. Definitely not the color that I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more like a burnt kind of red orange. Doesn't quite go with the eye look that I have on here. But I also picked up, this isn't Morphe, but I picked up the Madison Beer, oh, I guess it is, Madison Beer Morphe and Venus. And it looks like it matches the other one exactly. Very pretty packaging. Just gonna pop that on over. See if we can transform this a little bit. Okay, we have one more question and one more thing to do. I'm taking the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I will spray that over my face. And the last question I have is, what do people assume about me? Ooh, that was anticlimactic. Ugh. That's gross. It's like just peeing out. Let me try the little one that I came with. Yeah, that's so weird. Maybe it's because I was like letting the button go too soon. I don't know. That was weird. But anyways, oh, you know what I forgot? That's fine. I'll do that while we're chatting. My eyebrows. I'm like, we're looking a little light here today. That would be why. Just gonna take my MAC eyebrow styler. And so yes, last question. What do people assume about me? So like I mentioned earlier, I am more of an introvert, so when people come over or we have get-togethers or I have to meet new people, I'm very quiet. I think people assume that I'm being standoffish because I think I'm better than them, etc., etc. When really on the inside I am kind of trying to see, like, you know, I don't know, in my mind I'm like, are they even gonna like me? You know, they're so much prettier than me, or they're intimidating because they're so much more successful. So I'm like literally just waiting until I actually feel like I have something of value to contribute to the conversation. And sometimes it takes me a while to get to that point where I feel comfortable enough to talk, be myself. But one thing I have noticed, and I've always been that way since I was a kid, I've suffered with social anxiety so bad throughout high school, middle school, whatever. Any project I had where I had to like stand up in front of people, I basically passed out and almost threw up. And I honestly As much as I don't like to talk about it, I think it's just because of the way I was treated as I grew up by my own parents. They did kind of, well, my dad called me names and things like that and kind of put me down a lot, so my confidence was shaken from a really young age, and that's just kind of followed me, unfortunately, into adulthood. But since starting Loft, I have noticed that I don't have that like fear. Like, I'm the kind of person, I don't know if this makes sense, but I have to rehearse things in my head before I say them out loud. Like if I go to Taco Bell to order something, I have to like practice how it's gonna sound. So I don't have that feeling of overwhelming anxiety anymore, so I can just kind of like say whatever I think, even if it's stupid. And that's helped me a lot more to break out of my shell. And even with my own, like, my husband has a brother and a sister, and they come over sometimes, and I used to just be like really quiet, and they would be like, why is she like rude? Does she not like us? But in the past few months, I've been able to like interact with everybody, you know, be myself, kind of have fun and joke around. So I really believe that my anxiety was holding me back. And yet another thing that I'm grateful for Zoloft, if you guys haven't already watched it, I did do a video on that, and I talk about my experience with it and how much it has helped me. So if you want to check that out, definitely can. We are finished with everything, and I feel like you guys got to know me a little bit. Hopefully you feel the same way. There's nothing that I tried that I'm like, you need to go get this. Everything for me is just average, I would say. Like, it looks nice for the price. I think that the coverage you get from the foundation and the concealer is really nice as well. It's more of an affordable brand. I got everything that we tried on camera today for like right around $100 on Ulta. So for what you pay, I feel like you're getting good products, but I wasn't wowed. And I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know me. I appreciate you watching, and if you would like to subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. And if you liked the video, remember to give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any favorite Morphe products, what you thought of their new filter foundation as well. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!